Hi, and welcome to the Bacon Lodge. I'm Josh. Today we're working on this driveway. We got Jeff behind the camera and Hunter all of my weeds out of my yard. In the video, I'm going to show you how I'm going to say recondition the driveway. Some asphalt repatch where we cut out the bad asphalt, put in pothole repair, re-edging the side, cleaning it, and then of course running new asphalt sealer on it. Get to it.
Welcome to Bacon's Lodge, where I will build many things, fix even more, and try to make it an adventure along the way. So the first thing I wanted to show you here is how the driveway looked before we started. You can see all kinds of cracks, and in the cracks there's a bunch of weeds, and a lot of the seal coat itself over the middle part of the driveway is all taken off. Now you can see there as we go up, the edging's really kind of horrible, and there's a couple holes in the middle there. To do the edging, I needed to get a little bit deeper than just the regular edger. So you can see here, I take a Sawzall, which is a large demo blade, and I run it along kind of where the edge of the grass was there. Then you just take your flat shovel and you just rip it up like you would sod. I did go a little bit further past the edge because it was quite tall. It's about an inch tall above the driveway there. And then when you're done, you just scrape it all off.
Okay, for this part, there's two holes here. There's one here and one over there. I have no idea where they came from. They just kind of appeared last year. So we're going to take my electric concrete cutter here, or street saw, whatever you want to call it. And we're going to cut this out and put in what's called cold patch. I've done quite a few other patches here. I'll show you a couple of them here. And as long as you don't make them too big, they hold it pretty well. Kind of try to keep the rule of thumb is that you don't want it wider than the tire, because the idea is that at least while they're hardening, you don't want your car kind of smush them and make them all messed up. This is just a simple street saw I got off of Amazon. It's made by Stark. I'm sure it's like the finest of the Chinese brand.
I wanted to take a second here and thank Caden for helping me with picking out a new microphone to try to make this sound better. The few people I've talked to in real life have told me that it's a little bit hard to hear me, so I'm trying to turn up the volume as much as I can here. If anybody listens to this and they need something changed, just give me a comment through the YouTube. The more comments I get, the better it looks for the algorithm anyway, and then I'll do what I can do to fix it.
Now that we have that all cut, like a nice tic-tac-toe sign, we'll get these outside lines cleaned up too when we patch it up and seal it. So we got to pop out the old piece of asphalt, which usually isn't that hard. It's not really that thick. You can see it's only, I don't know, 3 inches thick. So I take that out. I'm going to kind of try to see what happened in here. I don't think anything heavy went on here, but kind of looks like maybe something did, because you can see how this is asphalt still. That's underneath there. That's not supposed to do that. Something heavy must have been in the driveway that I don't remember, and just kind of pushed down on it. So I'm going to clean out the loose amount of asphalt in here, and we're going to wash this off a little bit. Then we'll get the cold patch. So I have quite a few areas in my yard or driveway where I have problems with unevenness on this driveway. And the driveway, I'm guessing, was put in the late 80s. My house was built in 88. And looking down here, it doesn't even look like they use gravel. It looks like they just put it right on top of the... But this is a really large stone, and that's another really large stone. So between the two of those, kind of seems like they just threw it on a tiny bit of gravel. not like an actual decent gravel base, and they just put the asphalt on top of it. And overall, the driveway's in decent shape. So we're just going to wash this off because I like to have it somewhat clean when I'm putting the patch down in there. And I'm going to let the water dry down in there a little bit, and then we'll come back in a few minutes and we'll put the cold patch in there. So for the rest of this segment, you get to have the privilege that usually only people that are on a cruise ship during the flow rider, during the private lesson get to see. You get to see me wearing shorts for the rest of this segment. It doesn't happen often, so it's a privilege for you. I had to change out my pants. It's like 90 degrees out here and I already sweated through an entire pair. Besides cutting the asphalt with the street saw, kind of got me wet and then just made it worse from there. So like I said, the rest of this part, you get to see me in shorts. So what we're gonna do now is we're going to go through and I'm going to show you how I kind of plugged up the holes a little bit on the bottom. On the one on the left here, it actually had a hole sinking out, so I threw some rocks in there. And we're going to fill it in with this hole patch. It comes in bags like this. It's really simple how to use. You just kind of pour it in there, hit it down nice with the tamper, and clean it up with the shovel. So there are the two holes. You can see them, they're all dried out now. There's one there, one over there that I threw a couple rocks in to kind of help seal it up. So in my day job, I lay pipe for a living, so it's only fitting that in my side work when I'm at home, I'm gonna go ahead and fill. And I don't have, I can't think of any sexual innuendo jokes, but insert your own funny one here because I'm not feeling that funny today. So you can see it's called Pothole Patch. It's by Seal Best. It's just from Menards. It's their brand that they have. It's the same brand that makes the asphalt sealer that we're going to use. What I like to do is I like to leave it in the direct sun for about a half an hour. And you can see as it pulls out, it's really kind of cool because you leave it in a mound and it just kind of slowly fills in by itself. I mean, we're going to forcefully tap it, but you go and kind of overfill it like this. And the way it moves is kind of cool. It just kind of wiggles down into there. And you take your flat shovel, you just stack it up within the lines. You want to have it quite a bit overfilled, so when you tap it, it's going to sink in there. But I like to have it within the lines before I tap it because it's not as hard to clean up then. Now you got it in there, just take your tamper, tamp it until it's tight. I need to put a little bit more over in this area and overall the entire thing because there's a couple of dots there. So, and you can see before I put it in there, it was quite proud. So we're gonna just add some more. Should be good. I want to say the bag was like 15 bucks or 12 or 15 bucks. I think it was on sale for 12 bucks when I bought it, but it is soft for a couple of days. So what I usually do is I try not to drive on it for a couple of days, but as long as you tamp it in there really good like that, it gets really hard pretty quick. And then when you're done, as long as you use a good driveway sealer, it'll hold up really well. So what I'm doing is I'm going around, you can hear the tamper hitting the asphalt on the sides. So I know I'm nice and flush. Okay, for this next part, viewer discretion is advised, because if you are sensitive to burning things, you might want to turn away, because we are not going to be using a MAP gas torch to burn all of the weeds off the driveway. I killed them all with ground clear a couple weeks ago, but it seems like more have come back. When I usually use a tiger torch, which is like a big thing, hooks up to like a big propane tank from like your grill or something, but I'm not sure where mine is. So I went and got my regular old MAP gas torch, and I'm going to go through and burn them off. When you burn them off, it also reheats the asphalt, and it seems like it kind of goops back down into the crack a little bit. So it kind of does a dual purpose of getting rid of the weeds, so it's not caught in the seal coat, but also it kind of helps seal off the crack a little bit better. So. So now that I have all of the plant material all taken care of, you can see how it makes the asphalt shiny again. Well, the asphalt strip that I had put down a couple of years ago. But you can see how dirty everything is. I got the edge all cleaned up, and I got both sides cleaned up. I made the patches up there, but I got to go through and clean this now because you wouldn't want to put seal coat on top of any of this gunk. You could just use a leaf blower, but since I cut the asphalt, a lot of the material from that, you can see it here, it's streaky here, I'm going to wash it off. I don't think the leaf blower would get all this off, and I think it'd look a lot better if I just wash it all off. So I'm going to spend the next probably hour washing my driveway, which my neighbor's going to think I'm crazy, but it is what it is. Probably not going to film that because it's just me rinsing down the driveway with a hose. So next thing you'll probably see is me tomorrow coming out here midday, and we'll start spreading the seal coat. Okay, so today's the day that we're going to actually seal coat the driveway here. I waited till mid-afternoon, mid-morning I should say. It's about 11 o'clock. I wanted to make sure that everything got dried off from the night before when I washed it, and that I wanted the asphalt to be warm. So the first process today is going to be, I'm going to take my leaf blower and blow it off real quick. I did wash it off last night, but some grass and leaves fell. There's a bunch of mulberries down in the corner. So I want to get those all cleaned off. When we're done with that, we'll start going through how we actually spread this stuff. Okay, now I got that all blown off. I want to go over a couple of things as far as, like, you don't want to wear shoes that are or any good. These shoes are old work shoes, so after this project, they're actually going to go in the garbage can. The pants, the same thing. These are pants I don't like. I've only worn them like twice, but I don't like them at all. So, because every time I've done this, I've ruined both my pants and shoes because it splashes. You can be as careful as you want. Maybe you could be more careful than me, but I'd rather not give you a warning now instead of having you ruin stuff that's worthwhile. It's pretty self-explanatory. You know, it's going to be, you know, it's like oily tar crap. It's just going to coat all over you. So try not to do that. According to the manufacturer, you're supposed to have it above 70 degrees. I like it to be above 80 degrees a few times that I've done this. It seems to adhere better. I did it one time when it was colder and it didn't do as well. You also want it to be hot for a few days before you do your sealing, because you don't want to do this in like March in the Midwest, at least, because you might have a couple of days 80, but the ground's still cold. So you want to make sure that you're at a point where the ground temperature is warm. This stuff's going to be warm, so it can adhere. You want to make sure you have a day or two afterwards of no rain. It says 24 hours. Longer the better. That way there's no chance of it washing off. The stuff I'm using is from Menards. It's the Seal Best 400. Usually I use their 200. But this stuff was actually on sale for cheaper than that. The way they rate it basically is your 100 is a 1 year. It's got very little asphalt in it. It's just whatever sealing compound it is. And then every number up, 200, 400, 800, is their warranty. And then it has supposedly more asphalt in it. So this is a 4-year warranty. It seems like no matter what I do, I have to do it every 2 to 3 years. I actually bought their 8-year warranty the first time, which is almost twice the price, and it lasted 2 years. This right now is this is its 4th summer. I should have done it 2 years ago, but I didn't. I kind of slacked the last couple of years. That's why I had a little more weeds in the cracks than there should have been, and I had to fix up a little bit extra stuff. Nothing too bad. Speaking of cracks, because actually I had my neighbor come over because he saw I was doing this. He asked if I pre-did the cracks with crack filler. I did that one time when they were bigger than like my pinky. I bought this stuff where you put it down and you hit it with a tiger torch and it melts in there and kind of makes it nice and pretty. And then it left a small crack after that, which the seal coat filled in pretty well after that. I do have some other cracks that are, I mean, they're maybe 1/8 of an inch. This stuff fills it up pretty good. So I don't go through and do individual cracks unless they're really huge. And if they're really huge, like if they're over like a 1/2 inch, I'll actually just cut them out and put the pothole patch in there, because you're not going to fill it with anything that actually stays, because something's going on. That's why it's cracked. I mean, there's always going to be some cracks because there's movement in the. So I start at the roadside of mine because that's the top of the hill, and I use gravity to help me bring it down. If your house was the opposite, where your house was above the road, you would start by your garage or whatever and work your way down. If it's flat, I'd probably go from the garage out. Mine, like I said, that's above this, So I work my way down. I'm not a professional at this at all. I've done this 4 times on my own. I've done the asphalt patch probably 50 times with different jobs where I had to go through and cut their asphalt to get a pipe underneath. But for actually seal coating and making a driveway look better, this is like my 4th or 5th time. So if I'm doing something wrong, let me know. I'll try to make it better. We got our first bucket of seal coat here. I have a regular paint mixer that you can see is already covered in it because I've used it forever, just in my regular drill. To open up the bucket, you just pull the circle ring off of it, open it up, and then you're going to mix it up for a few minutes. So basically we're just trying to catch up to the top up here first. Make it not too thick, but cover all the way up to the road. The hardest part. I chip sealed this road, so I get all this crap off of the road. It makes it really hard to, yeah. Oh, there, I'm gonna have my shoe. Okay, now that we got the top part here, I'm going to show you how we kind of keep a pile here, but I need to put some more on the top. We're going to just keep that kind of slop through, and we're just going to start dragging it around. So I'm on the edge, I'm just kind of swooping it down a little bit, carrying the puddle. Don't push down too hard and remove too much of it, because then you get those streaks. You lose a lot on the edges. So when you come around the corner, to the edge, you can backtrack a little bit. You're kind of coming down, and I like to stay about 2 swipes, I guess, whatever you want to call it. Then you come back and you do your next stroke. When you're dragging it across, you can see that I'm covering about half the width of the squeegee. And if you tilt it a certain way, you can get it where it brings it almost all the way up to the top of the squeegee there. And what that does is kind of make sure that you're getting a double pass on each pass of the squeegee. And here are our patches that we did. The sun's kind of got a shadow on here, but I don't want to come out here later. Now you could still see the cross hatching from the side, so it kind of makes it look like a tic-tac-toe and kind of looks like a flat pancake. What'll happen is it'll smooth out, and what I'll do is 2-3 weeks from now, after this is really hardened up, I'll come back out here and I'll just seal coat over just this area. It'll feel those little lines a little bit better, and it'll smooth this out a little better. If you do it too thick, the seal coat will crack and kind of like garbage, as I did on another one, which I'll show you. But not only do they look too bad, and like I said, in a couple weeks, once this is all nice and hardened, I'll give them another coat of seal coat. I had about a half a container left, so, and then it'll look beautiful. This is the rest of it. This is the worst part of my driveway. You can see this is a patch that I did. You can kind of see where the lines are. They're really bad, but where there's not lines, that's where I patched it like 10 years ago, almost. This whole area right here is pretty bad. This is the worst part of the driveway. I think it's because the foundation underneath it is just garbage. But there we go. Overall, I'm pretty happy with it. So it's the next morning, and usually I wouldn't walk on this already, but it was so hot yesterday that I know this is dry. Not enough to drive on, but at least enough to walk on it. We started this project yesterday at 11 a.m. I believe about 75 degrees. It took me 2.5 hours, so it was done about 1:30. By the end of it, it was 96 degrees. It was only forecast to be 82 yesterday. The weatherman evidently didn't like me because it got to be a little hot. When I was doing the top part down here, it was no problem. Once I got into the fatter part and down towards the end there, it got to be a lot more stress. And by the time we got to all the way in by the past the garage door, it was so hot that the material, when I poured it out, it would start steaming or smoking. I'm not sure if it was steam or smoke. It was just whatever it was, off-gassing, whatever it was. So it was got to be a little unpleasant as far as the physical part of it, because it's just so hot. Hopefully you liked it. I think it did turn out amazing. I want to thank everybody who's watched the video this far. Most people, once I start talking, if they did stay that far, they cut it off. I wanted to kind of tell you, since you're evidently caring about the channel, if you stayed this far, I haven't been able to do as many videos the last few months, or about a month and a half, just because I have to work. In the winter I don't work, so I can put out a video every week. I'm going to try to get some out here in the summertime. It's not going to be quite as many as I thought it would be, but we'll get it figured out. And then this winter, we're going to go and do some projects. I'm going to show you one that I'm pretty excited about that I've kind of wanted to do. I kind of want your guys' take if you actually are going to be interested in this. I was thinking about building one of these before I started this YouTube channel. Here's some books for it. It's called wood gasifiers. Basically what it is you can run internal combustion engines on wood gas, which is gas that you produce off of regular firewood. If you guys can comment on this and let me know if you think that'd be an interesting subject, I'd appreciate it, because you know, the more comments and stuff that these videos get, the more algorithm awesomeness it gets and the more people see it. Once again, I do very much appreciate you watching these videos. The channel is up to almost 300 subscribers as of today, which it's kind of stalled out because I haven't done anything in a little while, so hopefully we keep growing. By the end of this winter, we're in June now. By the end of the year, it'll be kind of cool to get over 500. We'll see. If it doesn't, it doesn't. This is kind of fun, and hopefully eventually maybe it'll be big enough where people can come help me, or I'll come out and work at somebody's house or something like that. I don't know. Anyways, once again, thank you for watching these videos. I do appreciate it. May God bless you, and you have a great day.